Jumbo. And good morning, church. How's everybody?
I want to tag on to Pastor's notes on Black history. I mean, that's a hard act to follow. He spoke about Garrett Morgan, the man that invented the gas mask and the traffic light. But here's the real history. When he invented the traffic light, they looked at it and said, this is great. This will help control the traffic all out here. And when he came up with his papers, you know what they said? He's black. We don't want that. So he left. Turned around, they called him back and said, you know what? You got a good idea. We're going to take your invention. They gave him $500. And look at the traffic light today. $500 they gave this black man. But that didn't stop him because he invented the gas mask, which was used in World War I. Saved a lot of lives. But there's so much to our history that our history should be no mystery. We have to teach this, especially to our children, because these children are part of history. We are part of history as parents, grandparents, great-grandparents. You know more about what went on in this country than these children do, so you have to teach them. Can I have my cards? Pastor spoke on a gentleman who's responsible for Black history, but not Black History Month. His name was Carter G. Woodson. He was an abolitionist, writer. This man fought for our history to be recognized. I mean, he really fought for our history to be recognized. So in 1924 or 1929, they finally granted him what he was trying to do, but it was only Black History Week. There was no Black History Month. They only gave you Black History Week. That's a shame. So, they said, okay, we'll take Black History Week. But let's do it in February. We want to do it in between certain dates. So they chose the second week of February. Why did they choose the second week of February for Black History Week? Y'all know who this is. This man is responsible for, I do want to say this here. From now on, if you can, do not say slaves anymore. We were enslaved. When they came and got us and took us on that forbidden journey, we were kings, we were queens, we were craftsmen, we were politicians, doctors, lawyers. But when they took us, you were nothing but a piece of trash. And then they say, you're a slave. You're not a slave, you were enslaved. So when this man became president, in fact, young lady, come on up here. I want you to work with me. Well, you know me because you say my name all the time. Give me another young lady up here. Anyway, another young lady. I want you to walk around and show this picture of this president. What's his name? I just said it. Abraham Lincoln. Now go show that picture to everybody around here. You take this picture and you go show people around that side. Go ahead, show everybody the picture. Abraham Lincoln became president in 1860.
Hold it up. Hold it up.
In 1863, he said, I have to create Emancipation Proclamation, the 13th Amendment. Everybody know what the 13th Amendment is? That's our amendment. That belongs to us. The abolishment of slavery, the 13th Amendment by Abraham Lincoln. But they would not pass this law. So Abraham Lincoln said, okay, I'm going to still fight for who? These black people. And he fought, and he fought, and he fought. Till finally, they passed the 13th Amendment. But not until after they assassinated him. He was assassinated 4 months after his re-election. And then 7 months later, they passed the 13th Amendment. That, you black folks, y'all can go. But do you think those slave owners said, hey, get off my land, you're free, go ahead, go on about your business? No way. This is why you had the Civil War. People fighting among each other. I want my slaves. But the Union said, no way. So they had to pick a week to celebrate this. I'm not finishing, young lady. Come back here. Where's the other young lady? Come over here. You got some work to do. So they picked the second week of February for Black History Week. Why did they pick it the second week? Because February 12th is Abraham Lincoln's birthday, a man who was for black folks, and another man who, oh man, this guy was great. His name was Frederick Douglass. His birthday was right after. So they chose the second week of February to commemorate not only Abraham Lincoln, but Frederick Douglass. Take that around. And the reason why I'm doing pictures is I want you to see these people. I'll take that around. So that's Frederick Douglass. Now, I left out one important card. I left that on the table. That was a photo of Carter G. Woodson. Because, you know, we know our history by reading, we know our history by telling people, but do you know your history by looking at it? All right, before I get to my drumming, there's a company that's been supporting us for over 81 years. It's a worldwide company, and you use it every day. You probably just used it recently. The initials are USPS. Somebody tell me USPS. United States Post Office. They have been supporting Black history for 81 years. And how have they done it? They put it on the stamp. Most times, you go to the post office and you get a book stamp, you mail your stuff out, you don't even look to see who's on the stamp. The first person, the first black man on the stamp, come on back here, that's gonna work for you. First black man on the stamp was Booker T. Washington. 1940, where's my little helper? Here you go, take that around. Booker T. Washington, 1940, first black man to be featured on the stamp. Now check this out. If you looked at the stamp of Abraham Lincoln, that was only 4 cents. Look at Booker T. Washington, that was 10 cents. My man had clout. And if you look at the one on Frederick Douglass, that was 25 cents. He had even more clout. But here comes the good one. This statue is in Washington, D.C., and this was featured on the stamp, same year, 1940. How many of you go to Washington, D.C. and look at the statues in Washington, D.C.? Okay, if you didn't, there's one there. Skip seeing all that other stuff. There's a statue of Abraham Lincoln and a man called Archer Alexander. When the 13th Amendment was passed, Archer Alexander was freed from slavery. So they put him on the stand. They put him on the stand. I don't want these cards back. You can have all of them. This is not a clear picture, but this is the stamp that features Abraham Lincoln and Archer Alexander, who was a slave and was free. And he's on the postage stamp also in 1940. Take that around. Okay, this is not a clear picture, But if you want to know what Archer Alexander looked like, and there's a book written by him in 1885 that featured Archer Alexander. And if you go to Washington, D.C., look at that statue of him on his knee with chains right around the bottom of his feet. He was a slave at one time. So when you come back, you'll take this picture down Archer Alexander. And I'm going to do one more. Now, just before I finish with this one here, since 1940, my numbers may be off, it's been 140 black Americans, male and female, featured on the postage stamp. There's been over 45 black American events featured on the postage stamp. And we just totally overlooked them. Why? Because when you go to the post office, first thing you ask for is a book of stamp. But do you ever ask for a black American stamp? No, you don't. So when you don't ask for them, they go out of print. Oh, you can put that down. And the third person that was featured was George Washington Carver in 1948. And this list goes on all the way up to today. The United States Post Office has featured jazz musicians, blues artists, politicians, abolitionists, preachers, you name it. They featured all of them. And it was called in 1940 Famous American, but in 1978 they changed it to Black Heritage. And the first person featured on the Black Heritage series was Harriet Tubman. And this is what it actually looked like. When it first comes out, it's not actually a stamp. It comes out on an envelope called the First Aid Issue. It's very expensive too. Look at that gold part around the picture. It's actually really gold. Okay, it's called First Aid Issue. You know, put that down. And these are pictures of First Aid Issue. Where's Mother Help? She got lost. Okay, she is. And also I'm going to send around an actual photo. How many of you have seen a photo of Harriet Tubman? Not doing that. How many of you seen a photo of Harriet Tubman? You read about her. You've seen her in the book. But this is an actual photo of Harriet Tubman and her daughter, who went back down south to rescue her daughter and her husband. How many times did she go back down south? She didn't have a car. She didn't catch a bus. There was no Uber or Lyft. She walked and went back 19 times to rescue people. That was called the Underground Railroad. Oh, here you go. You gotta take this too. That's right. She'll come back for you. Now I'm going to do one more. I'm going to do my drum workshop. This stamp is still on the market today. Anybody ever heard of Snowy Day? Okay, I'm going to show you the picture. I know you see this. The post office still has it. Snowy Day. It's a book that was written in 1963 and not by a black author. It was a white author. His name was Ezra Keats. But check out the picture on the stand. It's about a little African-American boy. And the second book was about an African-American boy. So when you go to the post office and you ask for a book of stamps, ask for Black Heritage stamps. Now, they will not come in a book. They'll come on a sheet. But now, if you're going to stop and not ask for Black Heritage stamps, they go off the market. You can still get them, but you have to go on the internet to get them, and they cost more. Think about buying a stamp that only costs 40 cents. But if you can get that stamp 10 years ago and go on the internet to get it, it's going to cost you more than 40 cents. Okay, this is Snowy Day. Please go to the post office and buy this. This is about a little black boy. And here's some more pictures of Harriet Tubman. You might know that you can't have this. Some more pictures of Archer Alexander. You can take that. Anybody want the pictures? You can have them. This is Snowy Day. Don't try to put this on envelope, man. Archer Alexander. First day. Now I'm going to do my drum workshop. I'm going to need some chairs going right across here. For those of you who were here last year when I was here, I introduced you to man's first creation of the drum, which was a log drum. I didn't bring that bit back today because that drum was very heavy. Today I brought something else very, very interesting. It's called a bottle phone. And I will talk about that bottle fund in a minute. As soon as I give me a volunteer to play. I think I already know who the volunteer is. You. Well, I like your energy because last year when you came up, you said, I'm playing them drums right there. Here we go. How many chairs I got here? Can I get 3 children's chairs? Because I'm going to play too. All my children up here. Give me 3 children's chairs.
Don't be afraid. At one time, women were not allowed to play drums. You look at women today, it's something different. Man, drums. Yeah,
Amen.
you're proud. Y'all took out there. Okay, can I get some more notes?
Audience participation. This is our church. Come on, y'all. Come on.
Might come up, come on, have a seat in the chair. Give her a large gift. Someone else up here? Mind you, want to bring yourself a chair, have a seat?
Feel like the Flintstones. Feel like the Flintstones. Now that's old, right?
Can I get some more up here?
Y'all afraid?
Oh, you didn't bring your son today? Always bring his dad.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Both of them coming. All right, I have a few people here. Where's my pastor? I know you hide. I know you hide back there. You know I'm going to put you on the spot. I'm going to teach you a rhythm. It comes out of Africa. And I was taught this rhythm by a dance instructor. And it's called Marimbas. It's a real easy rhythm to play. And if this comes out right, it's going to get a new name. The new name is going to be Grace. So the instruments that we're using are djembes. They come out of Africa. You can find them all over Africa. The most popular ones came out of West Africa. They were animal skin heads that were tied down with rope with 2 heavy metal rings on it. Where she is sitting, Auntie, I call her Auntie. Where she's sitting at, that is called a balafon. And the balafons, they're not originating in Africa. They originate is just outside of Africa in Madagascar, that little small island. And then they started becoming popular all throughout Africa. But there's an instrument that's played here in America where the history has been confused, and it's called marimbas. Marimbas are not from Africa. Marimbas are from Southeast Asia. Yes, it's the same thing as that, wooden keys, but what makes the xylophone different, underneath, I don't know if you can see it, are little round chords. They're actually called calabash. It's like a fruit or a vegetable. And the calabash is cleaned out, opening in it, and it helps the key to resonate. That wood is called morula, and it comes out of South America and Africa. It's a real hard wood. Auntie, you want to give us a demonstration how it sounds? And that's wood, and it is handmade. It's strung together. No glue, no screws, nothing like that. So now, another name for the djembe, I'm here to sit down, it's called the kihembe. Kihembe and Goma. And Pastor, you might remember this, the group that I had. Goma and Goma. You remember because you was with us at the time. Goma means drum in Swahili. You drop the N, you have Goma, which means dance. So if you had a drumming and dance group, you would call them Goma and Goma. So y'all ready to learn this kind of lambe? You turn around this way. I have to turn my back. Okay, we're playing djembe, you sit on the edge of the chair. And you take the drum, so you can get sound out of it.
Ladies, pick up the drum. Please wait. Together. Oh, yes, she ready to. There's one hit in the center, and when you hit the drum, you do not rest your hand and bring it back off. Oh, and by the way, Pastor is not playing a djembe. Hold it up, Pastor. It shows you how other countries copied off Africa. That's a klong yao from Asia, and looks just like the djembe. So who copied off of who? First beat is in the center of the drum. Second beat is 3 beats on the edge, but it's not 1, 2, 3. It's 1, 2, 3. Next beat is 2 in the center. Next beat is 2 on the edge. Play the whole thing. All right, here you go. One more time. I'll do it in a second. So you get it. Ready? Do it real slow. Count 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm going to start the rhythm off. Hopefully the drum will follow. Ready?
That's your new theme song called Grace.
All right, y'all, I'm going to go ahead and jump on. Ready? Take your time. 1, 2,
Thank you so much. I enjoyed myself. Hope you get a whole learned a lot today. What, you want to come up here? You want to challenge me? No. That's right, Pastor. Get it wrong. We ain't did this in a long time.
I know.
Yes. I remember the day you played the rhythm so fast, I couldn't keep up with you. I'm getting you back.
Amen. Come on, clap your hands. And thank you.